gosh, I really want chickens, but they're probably a lot of work. No, buddy, you were wrong there. Chickens are probably some of the easiest critters you could ever take care of. Now, even though they're very easy to take care of, there's things that you should do and things that you shouldn't do and things that you should watch out for. There's definitely things there to be mindful of, but at the same time, they're pretty independent. For instance, these chicks back here are so easy to take care of. Right now, they're pretty young, so I can't really let them free range yet, or else they might get taken or eaten or killed by a rooster. But I hardly ever come back here to take care of these things because literally I'll check their food every now and then, which, I mean, that's a big bucket, so they can last a while on that. And there's this massive water. And I'll have to come back here every now and then, just scoop out some of these old nasty leaves that they kick in there, which is pretty gross, but that's about it. That is it. Speaking of independent, these chickens just range this whole yard. It's all fenced in, and you can just let them do whatever. Because of that, you can imagine they get plenty of food and nutrients from, being out here in the outdoors. Right here is just our backyard, and they probably get to roam about a whole entire acre. I have less than 20 chickens, and they have it all to themselves. Now, I have a lot of baby chicks, and I'm keeping a lot of those baby chicks, so I will be filling up my flock. Because, boy, if we had some wipeouts lately. Speaking of wipeouts, meaning predators, that's another thing that you have to consider when getting chickens. I would say pretty much everybody can take care of chickens because they're so easy, but not everywhere can you have chickens. Number one to think of is probably your HOA if you have one of those, or just neighborhood rules and all that might not allow you to have chickens. But number two, which is a really big one, is predators. If you have a lot of hawks, foxes, raccoons, what we have, you might want to have some traps set when you have chickens. For instance, we've probably wiped out, probably at dozens of raccoons just by leaving these traps set for 24/7. We got cat feed in there, we'll change out every now and then, and we just keep this thing set. And I can't think of anything to deter hawks, but I'm sure there's something out there. When I think of it, I have seen that if you get crows in your area, it will scare away the hawks, so maybe that'll work. But back to food-wise, now my chicken's free range, right? So, like I said, it's like an acre in this backyard. So, they don't eat much feed. They still do eat feed. So, right here, if you come under here, they have the 3 little cups, right? And I have this whole big old bin filled up with feed. Now, this big old thing is full of, there's a whole bunch of roaches, feed, there's a big old cockroach right there. But, it's hundreds of pounds. It's probably about 350 pounds of feed, right? So, even though it's a lot of feed, they go through it in maybe 4 to 5 months, which is a long time. And that is thanks to the free ranging, which I would highly suggest you let your chickens do if you are able to, when you get your chickens, if you're able to get chickens. There's a lot of if-ables. Now, another thing you might be thinking is, well, if I have a fenced-in yard, right? Well, why would I need a coop? This is their shelter, right? They're safe in the fence. Not really. You technically could do that if you had maybe nest boxes, or if you just wanted to go and have a scavenger hunt every morning for your eggs. But it's not that easy. Chicks need roosting bars, about a foot per chicken. So in here, I have about 35 feet of roosting bars. I have these running across, and I have these 3 8-foot ones running across. Chickens have to roost at night, but now that I think of it, I don't think I've ever researched why, but all I know, they have to roost at night, or else it will cause, might cause bone and joint issues. I don't know. It's just not healthy for the chickens to not roost, because after all, that's what they do. You also want your chickens to have nice nesting boxes. As you can see here, my chickens have plenty of variety of nesting boxes to choose from. And as you can tell, they love it so much because, well, there goes that girl. They love the nesting boxes, okay? They might not love me, but they love the nesting boxes. That is because I have plenty of nesting boxes to my hens, because if you have 2 little nesting boxes, then sure, your chickens can go one by one, assembly line, lay their egg. But that's not how it works. Chickens do a thing that's called going broody, which in my case is a big no-no, especially if you have little to none nesting boxes. So that's not my problem. I just rather hatch out my chicks in an incubator. But anyway, back to the point. Chickens, when they go broody, the hens will want to share or just take the other chicken's box, right? And so you need them to have a plenty of variety. And sometimes you could have 2,500 nesting boxes and you can have 2 hens, right? Those 2 hens can go in the same nesting box and fight over it the whole entire time. Whew, that was a big old sack of words. Another thing that has to do with broodiness and just taking care of your chickens in general, what I very much recommend for you to do is simply come out to your coop and collect eggs every single day. It might seem like a lot to you, it might seem like nothing to you, but really in reality, it's nothing. So just come out here and collect a few eggs. Now it keeps them much, much more clean. And you might be thinking, well, what does broody have to do with this? If you leave multiple eggs in here, your chickens are going to keep laying, and then they're going to start sitting on the pile, and then they're going to go broody, which, you know, sometimes you might want to let your chickens go broody, and sometimes you don't. So, collect your eggs. And I think this is probably going to be the last thing, but when you go to collect your eggs, make sure to wash them. Now, even though they might look all spiffy clean when you get them out there, because, you know, you're collecting them every day, now that you've learned from Massimo, it could still potentially carry parasites or germs on the eggs. So, since they're laid in a box where your hens may poop, I would suggest that you wash them before you're cracking them into a bowl that you're eating them. That's kind of gross. But in a nutshell, in the long run, wash your eggs. But anyway, guys, that's it. It's very simple to take care of your chickens, and you just have to keep up with it. But even though you have to stay on top, it's not even that hard. So if you want to follow me on my chicken life and just more chicken tips, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Helps me out a ton, and we're trying to reach 100 subscribers soon. So press that subscribe. Anyway, bye now. Where's he going?